Good morning, everyone. Today we're checking out a brand new video from the Stoninator, where he will be turning Pokétubers into custom Pokemon. Let's hop in and see who gets the treatment today.
Greetings, Bienvenue, come on in, sit on down. Is it just me, or does it feel like things have gotten colder lately? I'm not talking about temperature-wise, I'm talking about societal norms. The idea that we now live in a world where we're so capable of reaching out to millions across the globe, and yet it feels like we're so much more disconnected than we've ever been before. In fact, the National Library of Medicine conducted a survey just last year where they found that about 30% of older adults across the UK and US are currently suffering from loneliness. This epidemic, and that is the term being used, societal epidemic, is being addressed within the UK and Japan by appointing ministers of loneliness. And apart from sounding like a really cool wizarding title, it's a show of improvement that these are problems being addressed. So, your next question is, Stern, how are you addressing this problem? Well, that's what I'm hoping to do with today's video. Bring the Pokemon community, a community that's already really well close-knit together, just a little bit closer. So today I'm looking at several different Pokétubers and content creators across the internet sphere and looking at what their ace Pokemon in their dream region may look like, bringing in aspects of their personality, their look, their design, and their channel or socials into play in creating something fun, exciting, engaging, and hopefully enjoyable to watch. Something really cool about different Pokemon trainers across the Pokemon universe is how they are connected, affiliated, or associated with their ace Pokemon. I mean, look at Pokemon trainers like Cynthia. Her color scheme doesn't match her Garchomp in any way, shape, or form. And yet the two really feel like they fit well together. This is hopefully the type of idea that we're going to be addressing today, but without much further ado, let's hop right into today's video.
Yeah, let's go right to it. What up, Stun? Let's go. Who's up first?
So, right out the gate, let's look at our most problematic design. Nothing against Lorekeeper Toby. This design I just had to redo like 6 or 7 times. Eventually, I came up with a design that I was actually kind of in love with, only to realize that I'd allowed myself to go off the rails. I'd made a Pokemon that looked cool, looked amazing, looked awesome, but didn't really reflect Toby's vibe. So it was a better design suited for our Winds and Waves legendary video. So there I was, starting from scratch. Again, not a clue on what direction to go. So I did as I always do when I get myself stuck on these design prompts. I went to my soundproof screaming room, and I cried till I couldn't cry no more. I was letting him down. I was letting you guys down. I was letting myself down. It was back to the drawing board, laying out everything I could think of to inspire this design. See, there is an 11-year-long back catalog of Lorekeeper Toby's work, and that's just on his main channel. But there was also something to be gleaned from our exhumation into this creator. See, he wasn't always known as Lorekeeper Toby. About a year back, he went from Birdkeeper Toby to what we know now. Let's focus on a bird.
I remember
that. Also, something that's not a bird. A lore-intense bird, if you will. A bird that digs.
Why not take a lot of inspiration from that owl from Avatar: The Last Airbender? Well, if y'all do remember, in like book 2, I believe it was, or possibly book 3, I can't remember. Well, there was an owl that was in charge of a buried, sunken, massive-ass library temple. Well, and it was literally a lore keeper.
And hunts and bears witness to the histories of mankind in the Pokemon world, once thought long forgotten. It was there that I settled on the idea of a raven, one made of shadow and mystical energy, seemingly pulling itself out of the ground like the information that Toby so generously uncovers for all of us. Now, why a raven? Well, you see, in Nordic myth, Odin the All-Father was flanked by his 2 trusty raven companions.
I'm gonna tell you right now that specific depiction of Odin we have on screen right now is from God of War Ragnarok. Look, most other common depictions of Odin's are far more badass than this grandfather.
Hugin and Moonin. Now, while their names sound an awful lot like the verbiage used by the Swedish chef of Muppets fame, they worked as the eyes and ears of Odin himself, watching what actions transgressed over his wide territory.
That is
so
true.
I went in with the same idea of a bird, bearing witness with this raven-esque creature whose wings are long and flow around its body to create the illusion that it itself is rising up out of an otherworldly portal. On its chest rests the rune for Ing, meaning potential, meaning freedom, conclusion, and consequence. The only spot of color different from that deep grayish black and that vibrant energy-filled pink is the deep yellow of this bird's all-seeing eye.
That's good.
So get
That's
ready to
very
meet
good.
your maker with Ruvenate.
Ruvenate, the all-seeing Pokemon.
Oh, right. I kind of almost forgot for a second. That I need to be small so y'all can see. That I need to be low so y'all can see the shiny.
These Pokemon can fly for long distances, only stopping to strike at Pokemon unlucky enough to pass underneath. It is well known for its keen eyesight and the legend that says that it has perfect recall, capable of remembering everything it has ever seen in clear detail.
Ghost
Be
flying
cautious,
type.
however, as these Pokemon also tell stories and communicate with each other to warn their kind of dangerous or violent trainers.
Next up is another Pokétuber who also started their YouTube journey on their channel 11 years ago. But a major difference here is that A-Drive actually started with Nuzlocke. Did something happen in the Pokemon community 11 years ago that had so many of us running to YouTube? Either way, soon after working with the Nuzlocke, A-Drive transitioned into shiny hunting, and is actually one of the creators who can be credited with helping to spread the medium so far and wide. I love watching shiny hunting videos, and A-Drive really captures the flair and presence. Over the years, he's run the gamut on content, with his own style being added to each iteration of his videos. But 4 years ago, he actually officially launched his own monster card game, with his first video on Alestrals dropping back in 2022. Since then, I've actually heard people mention it.
Wait a minute, wasn't someone talking about that in a video a few weeks ago? Oh, it was Ron, wasn't it? Or was it Brandon? Damn it, I can't remember.
Talk about the game IRL, well, at card shops, which I guess is technically IRL, even though it feels like its own separate dimension. It's a passion project that gives creators like me hope in spreading our wings into other more radical venues. In fact, I'm working on a little side project at the current moment that I'm really excited for you all to see in the next coming weeks, but more on that at a different time.
I hope it's all good.
For this design, I actually went looking through the card catalog of Alestrals and decided to turn one of A-Drive's original characters into a Pokemon. And who better than Penterror? I mean, look at the guy.
It's a five-headed
It's my
Hydra
favorite
dragon.
design. So yeah, I decided that rather than focusing on making a brand new Pokemon for A-Drive, I'd look at some of the creatures that he'd made and brought to life and transition them over. The problem came in that there are some clear similarities between Alestrals and Pokemon, but there are also some major differences. So this became kind of a balancing act of sorts. I ended up keeping 3 main heads with 2 simpler, smaller ones towards the back without eyes. In the official art for Penterror, there's much the same idea with the 3 center heads having fins and the outer ones lacking them. I ended up fully rendering this guy out twice. Once a lot closer to the original design, and then this one that takes on some more drastic departures from the original. If you want to see the original design I did for this translation, then head on over to the Patreon linked in the description. High-res images, Photoshop files, and design exclusive to patrons live over there, so make sure to check it out. Again, that's going to be down in the description. In the meantime, take a gander at Pentragon.
Pentragon, the multi-headed Pokemon.
Look at that shiny. Gray and yellow, but still awesome.
It's said that this Pokemon came to our planet from a distant dimension, similarly full of amazing and beautiful creatures. It seems to have adapted to the region where it landed quite well, and takes large sky territories as its own. It is as fierce up in the sky as it is down on land, with its roar echoing for miles.
Okay, hold on. I have to actually say this. Yes, I just got an idea while that Mon was getting its description read out. A Pokemon region based on YouTube itself. And the 8 gyms will be the 8 most popular channels regardless of what they are. Well, just imagine that. An entire region filled of YouTubers, streamers, of everyone that's ever made our childhoods awesome and incredible. Well, and the champion, well, I think we can all guess who that would actually be. Okay, sorry about that. Let's get back to it.
Wow, that one really had me in its grips. One might even call that a brush with death. Oh my gosh, that was totally unintentional. Anyway, our next artist, Grim, from the channel Brush with Death, a fairly new YouTube person who immediately shocked the world with their amazing style and visual flair. I am a person who never really understood the 3D world, so seeing someone who came out of nowhere and so effortlessly adapted to a moving, grooving VTuber model has me hooked and scared. Mostly scared. It changes moment to moment, but either way...
I wonder if someday I will be seen by the very greats themselves. But until then, I'm just having fun.
For the design, I just had to look at the details of that VTuber model, as well as this creator's sudden and miraculous appearance. It's like I'm just wandering into the tall grass over here, and then when a wild Grim suddenly appears, I'm not ready. I knew that I wanted to play their channel icon up a bit with that living paintbrush type of feel. But what if it was alive? What if it was a debutante? What if it was fancy? What if it was a skeleton? Yeah, I went in with probably a little too much energy, but can you really blame me? Grim has such a cool VTuber model, and I'm honestly loaded up with so much G Fuel that my eyes are vibrating. It hurts, but like in a good way. And right now, you can grab yourself some G Fuel by hitting that link down in the description. I've been absolutely hooked ever since getting them as a sponsor. And as a person who only sleeps 1.5 hours a night, it keeps me awake and energized without feeling just god-awful the next morning. You know, like other energy drinks do. So head down below and give him a click.
I'm sorry, Lauren. Look at that. Look at his kind of model there above us. Is it getting darker circle bags under its eyes? It's like the model itself isn't sleeping. I mean, like that can't be healthy.
But for the moment, let's get back to Grim. They have such a fun color scheme that I wanted to apply, and while I said at the outset that I wouldn't be looking at more than just turning them into a Pokemon, this one just felt natural, as well as just feeds into really cool Pokemon design. One that I hope they can really perceive as an ace Pokemon. But let me know what you think. And while you're at it, tell me what abilities you think this Pokemon and the rest should have down in the comments. Grim has such a fun personality in video, and it's great at connecting to their audience. I hope that I can do the same by, you know, buying your love. So again, let me know down in the comments what abilities you think the rest of these Pokemon should have, and who knows, maybe you'll see your comment come up in the next video. So come gather and bow for Brushess.
Brushess, the brush Pokemon.
Oops,
This Pokemon,
there we go.
by royalty, with the long streaks of paint that it left behind as it moved, seen as symbols of regality. Many abandoned mansions can still be discovered with loosely painted lines traced up and down the walls and through the main areas.
It's a combination of brush and Duchess.
Be aware in the wild though, as they can be quite dangerous, with their paint strokes the only sign that one may be nearby.
Finally, we have a YouTuber who I've probably...
No, I got what its ability should be. It should be like the Tapu's. Well, when it uses like a special move, or maybe when it enters battle or something, and the field changes. Is maybe something that would boost its its ghostly nature, or something like that.
Probably been watching the longest. That is Loxton from the Loxton and Noggin channel. He started posting to his YouTube 11 years ago? Seriously, what was going on in 2015 that had so many people deciding to start make YouTube videos?
Yeah, what happened?
Well, I'm fairly certain these two things are
definitely
related,
not that.
But nevertheless, Loxton was really one of the first YouTubers that got me into looking at breakdowns rather than just having them. I bring your attention once again to the streaming room. It wasn't until about 2016 that Loxton made a hard pivot towards Pokemon content.
Hey, on Stone, do you need a therapist or something? And because you keep going to that screaming room, I think you may need help.
And has kept it up ever since, with the occasional breakaway to other Nintendo and video game products. 5 years back, however, he turned his attention towards the Cascade region, Loxton's personal fake region. And so I wanted to design a Pokemon that felt like it could realistically fit into this Pacific Northwest style area. I took inspiration from foxes and other varmints that call the area home, while also trying to focus in on the Northwest fashion. I like the idea of flannel, but that pattern felt a little too wild for a Pokemon design, he says, remembering that Muna's floral body pattern exists. Either way, I decided to look at some key features of people in the region and found a common trait for flannel is to wear it tied around the waist. And given Oregon, Washington, and my own home state of California's large logging industries, I thought, yeah, fur pelts and workout wear seem to fit the vibe. So we have a varmint wearing fur pelts but still feeling sporty. I also wanted to go that mythic or juxtaposed to mythic type of feel. Zeraora, Lucario, Zoroark, you know the deal, the furry Pokemon.
I was just about to say, the furries.
And given Loxton's love for diving into multiple subjects like math, history, and science to address Pokemon theories, I wanted this design to have a heavy psychic energy type of feel to it. I really like the design and look on this Pokemon. In fact, I tried to do this video exactly about 2 months back, and I kept getting stuck on the Loxton and Noggin Pokemon. I don't know, there were just so many ideas that I wanted truly to bring into play here, and it took me a while to eventually get there. I know, I make it seem like these videos come out pretty quickly, and they do, releasing about 2 videos and a live per week, but honestly, a lot of this is experimentation. And if there's anything that we can learn from these other creators, these people who have helped influence me and likely influence you too, it's to keep on going, to keep on trying. So many of these creators have been doing this for 10 plus years, and those of them that we looked at that haven't are just starting fresh, and there is a beautiful thing to that. I myself have only been doing YouTube for about 20 months, and it is so rewarding,
just under 2
not
years?
just in getting to make the videos and getting to explore these ideas, though that is a big part of it, but also getting to see you guys as fans experience what these things are too. Getting to see you guys enjoy or honestly sometimes hate the designs that I put out is the lifeblood and something that really makes me feel like I don't need the screaming room. Though I'm not getting rid of it quite yet, it is kind of a security blanket at this point.
Okay, at this point, even if it is security blanket, I'm getting you a therapist. I'm making a call after this video. You need someone.
So thanks for using your noggin, and here's Veloxin.
Veloxin, the mind-lock Pokemon. This Pokemon can sense thought and mental energy, reading the electrical impulses of the brain and spinal cord. It's capable of tapping into this mental energy flow to enhance its own psychic abilities. When not drawing energy, they make their burrows deep underground to build up this siphoning power by any who cross over its den.
So with that as the last of our Pokemon and the last of our Pokétubers, you're probably asking, hey Stern, what you still drawing? Well, this time I'm making a Pokemon for you!
No!
But this Pokemon isn't a Pokemon. No, you see, one of next week's videos is about Ultra Beasts, and to prepare, I thought I'd make one for the most influential influencers I know. You guys, the audience. So I went into my Discord and ran a few polls to determine what we'd be making. I let you guys pick the first and second typing, as well as the color and the base model. And you all picked up Purple Electric Fairy Object Pokemon. And that, for some reason, caught me completely off guard. I suddenly had no idea what to do. Yeah, for a while my head was buzzing. A lot like it did when I was a kid. Maybe it was that bee that flew up my nose when I was a kid that never came out, or maybe it was the voices in my head, not yet fully developing coherence. But I think the most likely culprits were the transmission towers just outside my window. You remember these things? You've seen them before. They sparked an idea, and spark seems to be the most appropriate word, because these were technically objects. One's invasive to the residential area, and they're electrical, emitting a low buzz that seems to cause headaches from time to time. Ultimately, it seems like these fall directly in line with what we're trying to make. So we had our heading, and I was ready to trauma bond us all at once with these terrible machinations of men. Something that I love about Ultra Beasts is just how off-putting they can be. They really are just like me. I mean, most of them don't even have faces, apart from Guzzlord, who is like 95% face.
No, he's 90% mouth.
That is a sound that a Pokemon canonically makes. But I really did have fun with this design. I mean, freeing. It was so freeing to be able to make kind of whatever and be able to slap the label of Pokemon over it. I mean, obviously there were still some rules to follow, but in the end, this thing was just bizarre enough to feel out of the realm of Pokemon, but grounded enough to still feel like it belonged. So I give you UB Powerhouse, aka Pazzour.
Pazzour, huh?
Pazzour, the high-voltage Pokemon.
Oh, Pazzour.
It seemingly came from a distant dimension. This Ultra Beast is quite dangerous, as it...
Also, hold on. We just saw him coloring this thing in with yellow, but the final results is just like neon blue? I'm not hating it. It's just a little awkward. Oh, well, no, left field, but still. I actually love this coloration. It's good. Shiny's good as well, but I prefer base form.
Plants itself in highly urbanized areas and hides in plain sight. It constantly emits a low buzzing that can cause headaches and from time to time nausea, but otherwise it can go completely ignored.
So who was your favorite? Who are you adding onto the team? Let me know down in the comments below. And hey, before you get all the way down there, consider stopping by the description where you can find various opportunities to support the channel. If you don't want to or don't have the ability to do so monetarily, don't worry, our Discord is free and it's down there too. So hop into the Discord if you...
Alright everyone, that is going to be the end of today's video, and I hope you all enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see all of you next time when we flick back on. Till then, this is Fox, signing out. Peace.